Making headlines tonight. The Chinese foreign minister's visit yields 3 million more vaccine doses and 6 bilateral agreements, including a $270 million grant for the economy. Cambodia's COVID-19 case count passes the 100,000 mark almost 7 months after the 20 February community transmission event. And the capital's schools hard at work cleaning up ahead of Wednesday's big reopening. This is the Daily Roundup on the EAC News Channel. A very good evening to you. I'm Andrew Barnes-Roberts. Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi left Cambodia for Singapore on Monday morning after an extremely fruitful visit that lasted barely 22 hours. He landed at Phnom Penh International Airport at 11 a.m. on Sunday. By 9 a.m. on Monday, he was gone, but not before handing over a $150 million sports complex, confirming the donation of 3 million more doses of vaccine and signing 6 new agreements with the kingdom, among them a $270 million grant. A working breakfast at his hotel was the final item on Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi's Cambodian itinerary. He held talks with Deputy Prime Minister Hau Nam Hong, who is co-chairman of the Cambodia-China Intergovernmental Coordinating Committee. He also met with Minister of Public Works and Transport Sun Chantol, Health Minister Mam Bun Heng, Commerce Minister Pan Sorasak, and Secretary of State at the Ministry of Economy and Finance Vongse Visot. They'll be managing the windfalls that have come from Wang Yi's visit. Those windfalls, in the form of 6 bilateral agreements, were signed at the Peace Palace on Sunday evening with Prime Minister Hun Sen. The 6 documents include a handover of humanitarian demining equipment for the Cambodian Mine Action and Victim Assistance Authority, an agreement on cooperation on supporting partner hospitals, a handover of equipment to combat the pandemic from the Chinese government, an agreement on cooperation on a $270 million economic and technical grant, a handover of a $2.5 million grant for demining, and an agreement on cooperation projects through the Mekong Lanchang Cooperation Special Fund. A little earlier on Sunday, Wang Yi paid an official courtesy call on the Prime Minister. He also held bilateral talks with his Cambodian counterpart Prak Sokhonn. But the headline event was undoubtedly the official handover of the Moradok Decho National Sports Complex, where the close relationship between Cambodia and China has been enshrined in concrete. The main stadium's 2 99-meter-tall prows symbolize the two countries, and the stadium's overall design, personally selected by Prime Minister Hun Sen, pays tribute to the historic relationship between the two nations, resembling an ancient Chinese sailing vessel. The sports complex is the largest gift China has ever given to another country. The Chinese Foreign Minister likened the friendship to a rose that has never stopped blooming.
Cambodia and China are both developing countries, and we are building for the community together. And China will help to develop in all fields in both countries. And China will help Cambodia by giving the people for better living, get more benefits for their family. And we hope that Cambodia will be more prosperous in the future.
The Prime Minister thanked China for the stadium, hailing it as a major benefit of the Belt and Road Initiative, as well as his win-win policy. He says the stadium will be a beacon for Cambodia's future. I asked the Cambodian SEA Games Organizing Committee chairman to invite foreign soccer teams to play or train here. And I ask all of our sportsmen and women who were trained by the Ministry of Education in their regions to come and hold competitions here in order to make this place a system for attracting tourism and development. The Prime Minister says a grand opening ceremony to which thousands of people will be invited will be held at the stadium as soon as it's safe to do so. A week today, it will be exactly 7 months since the 20 February community transmission event. And on Monday, Cambodia's total COVID-19 case count passed the grim milestone of 100,000 cases. Before February this year, the kingdom had dealt with 2 community outbreaks. Both were contained within a month. But on the 20th of February, 4 Chinese nationals bribed their way out of quarantine and spent a night on the town. It was a night out that has cost Cambodia dearly. EAC News reporter Reo Soko has the story.
On the 20th of February this year, Cambodia had recorded a total of just 516 COVID-19 cases. Most had been imported. Daily cases were averaging out at between 20 and 30. There had been 0 deaths, but in the early hours of that day, 4 Chinese women in quarantine at Sokha Hotel bribed a security guard and escaped. They visited several upmarket condos and partied the rest of the night away in a packed nightclub. 2 of them were COVID positive. One of them had the more contagious Alpha variant. Cases began climbing and fast. In the days that followed, schools and other high-risk businesses were ordered closed. International travel was severely restricted. As time went on and cases continued to climb, curfews and lockdowns were announced in the capital and then across the country, with the new Delta variant only complicating an already difficult situation. Weeks of closure for some businesses has turned into months, with restrictions still in place in many provinces, including the capital. On Monday, 13 September, the Ministry of Health announced its latest COVID-19 figures: 629 new cases, 9 deaths, and 422 recoveries. They take the kingdom's total number of cases to 100,133. The death toll stands at 2,049, and the country's health workers have successfully treated a total of 94,326 patients. Almost exactly 7 months have passed since those 4 Chinese nationals bribed their way out of quarantine at Sokha Hotel. 7 months later, over 100,000 people in Cambodia have been infected. Over 2,000 have lost their lives. Ironically, Sokha Hotel is now one of the only 4 hotels in the capital to be officially designated as an alternative state quarantine hotels. Rhea Soko, EAC News, Phnom Penh.
The 3 million more doses of vaccine to be donated by China are to be used to bolster Cambodia's rollout of booster shots. The announcement was made by Prime Minister Hun Sen on Sunday night at the Peace Palace. 7 months of vaccinations in the kingdom have seen over 71% of the population get fully vaccinated. Booster shots began last month, with the country aiming to secure enough doses to administer them to 12 million people. EAC News reporter Yuri Matosko has the details.
To date, 750,000 people have received their booster shot third dose of vaccine, typically administered about 6 months after initial vaccination. To increase booster dose rates, Prime Minister Hun Sen announced that the 3 million extra doses of vaccines donated by the People's Republic of China will be going into arms as booster shots. Cambodia has already received 2 million doses for its third dose program. 3 million more will arrive from China soon. This leaves only 3 million more doses to secure for the kingdom to have enough vaccine doses in stock to achieve its 12 million goal. At the moment, the kingdom has 77% of the adult population totally vaccinated, with barely 2.7% of adults unvaccinated. The Prime Minister aim is to have achieved herd immunity in the coming weeks so that Cambodia's new normal can begin. Yuri Matosko, EAC News.
There are just 2 days to go before secondary schools in the capital will reopen after an almost 7-month break. Schools, teachers and students are all getting ready, but safety against COVID-19 is being prioritized. School administrations in Phnom Penh have sanitized their campuses and are cleaning up. Teachers were also tested for COVID at the weekend, in line with the requirements set by the Ministry of Education. EAC News reporter Rhea Soko has more.
Public and private schools are busy preparing in line with the requirements set by the Ministry of Education. They have to pass to be able to reopen on Wednesday, although private schools can make their own decision about exactly when. Most public schools from grade 7 to 12 in Phnom Penh will open on the date set by Governor Khong Sreng. Schools have been cleaning up and sanitizing for the past week, especially those schools that were used as quarantine or treatment centers for COVID-19 patients. While teachers say they're excited to get back to in-person learning, parents are equally excited.
I feel very happy because my kid will get to learn more than before. Every day, my kid studies online. The problem for them is the internet. If they go back to school, they get to learn more and learn faster.
I am excited for my child to go back to school, and I hope this time they won't close the schools again. I also hope that the COVID-19 pandemic will end soon.
Beyond Phnom Penh, some other provinces are also reopening schools. One of them is Porsat Province. Provincial Education Department Director Lee Sokunthi says a total of 54 secondary and high schools will open on Wednesday. While in Kampong Cham, Provincial Governor Ung Chanda has announced that secondary level will reopen next Monday, 20 September, while primary level will reopen on Monday, 11 October. Rhea Soko, EAC News.
World Vision Cambodia has announced a new collaboration with 532 schools and libraries across the country to improve the reading habits of the kingdom's children. The organization's director, Va Surin, says the idea is to help more than 100,000 children get access to books in remote areas with the help of a mobile library. EAC News reporter Yuri Matosko has the details.
Mobile Library, promoted by World Vision Cambodia, brings librarian and community volunteers to school in 30 districts and 9 provinces. It was launched in March this year, after public schools were closed in response to the 20 February community transmission event. Every week, the mobile library drives into rural villages with new books to be borrowed, checking up on children's reading habits while it's there. World Vision Director Va Surin says it's becoming clear that children are more interested in books and less interested in mobile phones. But it's not only children that project is aiming to help. The Mobile Library program believes it can also bring parents closer to their children's learning routine. Just last week, Prime Minister Hun Sen delivered a speech on National Literacy Day, pointing out the benefits of books for the future of the country. The theme of this year's Literacy Day was "Literacy is the Foundation of Lifelong Learning." Yuri Matosko, EAC News.
Now for a look at news making headlines around the world this Monday, the 13th of September.
An explosion which neighbors say felt like an earthquake rocked an apartment building in suburban Atlanta. It caused the 3-story complex to partially collapse. 2 people are missing. 4 people have been injured. The Dunwoody Police Department says they received calls shortly before 1:30 on Sunday afternoon. The cause of the explosion is being investigated, but a local utility company reportedly received a call from a resident complaining about a strong smell of gas. The 4 people hospitalized are all in a stable condition, but 2 other people remain unaccounted for. They may well have been in one of 3 apartments that completely collapsed.
4 passengers have been killed in an airline crash landing in Siberia. The Russian-made L-410 aircraft was carrying 14 passengers and 2 crew when it attempted a hard landing 4 kilometers from its destination. According to preliminary reports by local emergency services, the plane reported equipment failure minutes before the crash landing. Rescue services had to free 11 people who were trapped inside the aircraft.
And several massive explosions were heard as a huge fire broke out in an industrial area in West Yorkshire in northern England. Residents reported hearing a loud bang, which could be heard for kilometers. It sparked panic, with a building bursting into flames and sending a column of smoke into the sky. Fire and rescue services say everyone is accounted for. The explosions were apparently caused by gas cylinders.
Stay with the Daily Roundup. After the break, a look at the day's sports news. EAC News fully supports the Royal Government of Cambodia's preventative and administrative measures against COVID-19. But we need you to play your part in helping bring the 20 February community transmission event to an end. Wash your hands regularly, sanitize wherever possible. Keep an eye on your body temperature. Use the Stop COVID QR code and maintain a safe social distance. But above all, please, 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 wear a mask. Only together can we beat COVID-19. EAC News' audience is growing. Our YouTube channel has over 150,000 verified subscribers. To mark the milestone, we've received the Silver Creator Award from YouTube. It's given to channels with over 100,000 subscribers. YouTube CEO Susan Wojcicki says the award celebrates EAC News' hard work and incredible achievement. She says we brought a unique voice and style to the world, but have also created valuable connections and built a community along the way. The next milestone we're going for is 1 million subscribers, and we'd really like that Gold Creator Award. So if you're not already a subscriber, head to YouTube and search for EAC News. Subscribers get alerts when the Daily Roundup is premiering and live events are streaming. Get all the latest breaking news and updates from Cambodia in English. The EAC News channel on YouTube. Cambodia made clear. If it's happening and you need to know about it, you'll get it all right here. EAC News brings you updates and breaking news in English across all of our platforms and channels. The EAC News app, YouTube, Facebook, Telegram, Twitter, and our website www.eacnews.asia. Join me, Andrew Barnes-Roberts, and the rest of the EAC News team every day on your favorite channels. EAC News, Cambodia made clear. History was made at the US Open this weekend. For the first time in tennis history, a qualifier has won a Grand Slam tournament. Emma Raducanu has also become the first British woman to lift a major tennis trophy since Virginia Wade way back in 1977. Friends and fans of Britain's Emma Raducanu went bonkers in their local pub in her hometown of Beckenham as the final played itself out across 2 sets. It's been 44 years that Britain has been waiting for scenes like this.
I said earlier on if she was going to win, she was going to win straight sets. I mean, it's just a joke of an achievement for her. I think it was important she got it done in that second set. Fair play to her opponent. She was equally as unbelievable. But yeah, it's nuts.
Britain as a whole went pretty nuts, with everyone from Prime Minister Boris Johnson to the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge, and even former tennis great Martina Navratilova taking to Twitter to congratulate the country's new tennis queen. 150th ranked Raducanu wasn't exactly expected to do all that well, but then again, neither was her 73rd ranked opponent, the first Grand Slam final ever to be contested by 2 unseeded players. EAC News spoke to former UK tennis pro Annabel Croft, who is now a presenter for Eurosport. I began by asking her for her reaction to the match.
Well, Andrew, it was an absolute fairy tale in New York for the last couple of weeks. I don't think anyone has seen anything quite like this breakthrough of this gorgeous British girl who came through 3 rounds of qualifying on top of the 7 matches that she won in a row in New York. She didn't drop a single set, and she quite literally blitzed all her opponents off the court. It's been absolutely incredible to watch.
Annabelle, the reaction to this has just been incredible. What makes it so special?
I think one of the most impressive aspects of what she did, Andrew, was the fact that she kept walking out into the biggest tennis stadium in the world, the Arthur Ashe Stadium, and just seemed to embrace the occasion. She never looked nervous out there. She took her game to her opponents. She has beautiful techniques on the court. Nothing looks like it can go wrong. She never doubted herself. She doesn't hesitate. And she moves so beautifully around the court. She's got very light footwork. But I think more importantly, she's got real poise and composure. And she seems to play with a lovely smile on her face. And she just is a communicator. She communicates with the fans. I think the whole thing just came together in one perfect storm in New York over the last 2 weeks. She's been congratulated by the royals over here. The Queen has sent a message. I think the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge have also sent messages. So she has really announced herself on the grandest of stages. And it really is honestly a fairy tale.
All the more remarkable was that Raducanu's march to the title required 10 matches, including 3 wins in the qualifying stage, and she did it all without dropping a single set. A simmering rivalry in Formula One erupted into a spectacular crash at the Italian Grand Prix on Sunday. Red Bull's championship leader, Max Verstappen, crashed into Mercedes' 7-times world champion and defending champion, Lewis Hamilton. Mercedes have gone as far as to call the crash a tactical foul by Verstappen.
A picture paints 1,000 words. Verstappen and Hamilton had been driving wheel to wheel midway through the race when they collided at the first curve of the lap. Verstappen appeared to make contact with Hamilton's Mercedes and went off the curb and into the air. Mercedes team principal Toto Wolff says Hamilton could have been seriously injured and that Verstappen had committed a tactical foul. Wolff says the spectators will decide who was to blame. Both drivers somehow managed to escape injury. The Italian Grand Prix was eventually won by McLaren Daniel Ricciardo. He has not won a Formula One Grand Prix since 2022.
Australia's Rhiannon Ifland and Britain's Gary Hunt continue their dominance at the Red Bull Cliff Diving World Series. They're both regarded as among the best cliff divers in the world. Sunday saw them in action at a brand new launch pad on the sheer cliffs of Downpatrick Head in the Republic of Ireland. Aussie Ifland recorded her first ever perfect dive, all 5 judges awarding her the maximum 10 points, helping her extend her consecutive wins record to 11 with a series total of 600 points. Canadian Jessica McCauley placed a distant second, and Australian wildcard Xanthia Panisi claimed the final step on the women's podium. On the men's side, Gary Hunt had a more difficult fight, just edging out his Romanian challenger Constantin Popovici 442.5 points to 433. Alessandro De Rose from Italy placed third. The series now moves to Puglia, Italy for the next round of competition on the 22nd of September. All right, let's take a look at what the weather's up to tomorrow. And finally, the music video of Thai-born K-pop singer Lisa's first solo single is driving up sales of glittery traditional costumes in Bangkok, most especially headpieces. Well, if you have a fan of the singer in your home here in Cambodia, do we have good news for you? The headpieces are available here. It's this video which fans across Southeast Asia are loving. In La Lisa, Lisa wears Thai-inspired costumes and traditional Thai headpieces. The video has already had more than 100 million views. Her fans, as well as those of the K-pop girl group she's in, Blackpink, are all rushing to Bangkok's Sampang wholesale market to get their hands on the costumes. Thais say they feel the video has made their own culture more accessible to them and has shown them how they can incorporate more traditional dress in their everyday lives. The handmade head accessories cost between $7 and $30 and are mainly used in ceremonies or for traditional dance. The manufacturer also ships these products to China, Myanmar, and yes, Cambodia, so head to a market near you if you have a Lisa fan in your home who just can't imagine living without one. Thank you for watching the Daily Roundup here on the EAC News channel. More breaking news and updates from our website, head to www.eacnews.asia. You can also search for EAC News on Telegram and at your favorite app store. More from the EAC News team in the Daily Roundup tomorrow night at 8. I will see you then.